question that we're going to start off with is, how have you built your affluent network, right? So how have you built your affluent network? We're going to start with Mike Rampf from Vancouver.
So I started real estate when I was 24. I don't think anybody would really want to trust me buying a car off me, never mind buying luxury real estate. So I found it very challenging to get into the higher end market. About 8 years into my career, I joined like a coaching program, like I'm sure a lot of us have all done on this call. And I spoke to the gentleman. I said, how do you sell high-end real estate? He said, well, I just got out of a helicopter with Ellen DeGeneres. I'm like, okay, this guy's got it figured. I want to sell real estate like this guy does. And at the end of my 1 year program with him, I think it was pretty easy. I think I can save everybody a lot of money. You don't have to go through an elite training program for 1 year. It really came down to, who do you want to work with and where do they hang out and how can you build a relationship with them? It's really as simple as that, I think. So when I was 24 years old outside of university, I was not going to an affluent club or volunteering where the people in Vancouver really hang out. I was skiing, snowboarding, at pubs, and guess who I was selling? People that frequented those three areas. So I changed my mentality. I've always wanted to volunteer. I've always wanted to give back. So I joined the board of advisors for a nonprofit, not-for-profit. That was where my help people out. And then from there, I was getting to know CEOs of big companies, of tech, of entrepreneurs, people of like mind. Look, I was still on the younger side. These gentlemen and ladies were a lot older than me, but I was able to sit in a room with them, not hand out my business card, ask to sell their real estate. It was, how can you build a relationship with these people over 5 to 10 to 15 years? And now I'm friends with them. Everyone knows a realtor, but now they know, like, and trust me. I've built that trust over the years. So you sell one of their houses, and before you know it, hey, you sold Jim's $17 million house in Southlands. Awesome. Okay, if he trusted you, let's go. And then the floodgates kind of just opened up. So it's hang out where people want to be, that you want to work with, and authentically create a relationship. Do not, this is my philosophy. Don't tell them you're a realtor. Real estate. Talk to them about real estate. Talk to them, build that relationship. And I'm 20 years in the industry now, and it seemed to have worked out from a young buck at 25 that couldn't grow facial hair to where I am. So it happened.
Awesome advice, Mike. Thank you so much. Joanie Heighes with Engel Volkers, Jacksonville Beach, Florida. How do you, or how have you built your affluent referral network?
So actually, along the same lines as Mike, but I've never ever sold a $17 million property yet. But when I grow up, I want to do that. My business coach told me a long time ago that you have to put yourself around the people that you want to work with. And so at the time we were living, my husband and I were living in a luxury high-rise downtown. And she told me, don't just get in the elevator and stand there. Talk to people. Those are your customers. Talk to them. Say hi. Don't tell them you're a realtor. Get to know them the same way. And then the more you chat with them, the easier it will be. The other thing that I did very early on in my career was I joined BNI, Business Networking International. And I learned how to network because I never knew that before. And I learned that if you put it out to the universe, it does eventually come back. But you can't say to people, I want to work with people selling multi-million-dollar properties. I found that I can tell them that I'm interested in working in certain neighborhoods. And if you say, you know, you want to work in XYZ neighborhood, somebody in your group either knows someone or knows someone who knows someone. And then you can get invited to events that are going on there. And again, you don't have to tell them you're a realtor. Just be there, be involved in the events, and eventually, you know, that will happen. Some things work out, some things don't. I speak French, and so my business coach and I, Karen Nutter, decided that I should join the French club here in Jacksonville, and that didn't work out at all. So, you know, you're going to have things that you say, yeah, not so much, but yes, put yourself around your target audience. That's my advice.
That's awesome. Yeah, Business Networking International is a fantastic program. We actually belong to it here in Rhode Island. It's been unbelievable. Great advice, Joanie. Thank you. Jennifer Vargas from Houston, Texas.
Yeah, so it's definitely along the same guidelines. I mainly stay in the equestrian field, whether it's rodeo or dressage, not dressage, polo. That's a very common mistake, so don't worry. But there is a lot of different types of people that run through that network, as well as, you know, it's kind of like the same thing as golf or tennis. But the equestrian field or cattle, it's, you know, larger animals, it's definitely different. And there's, you know, you see, it's really just kind of the same thing, who you hang out with, who you talk to. I've only been in this business since 2020. And the people that I hang out with, and also actually for me, it was the brand, it was the EV brand. When I started with a smaller company, and nobody would really give me a chance. But as soon as I switched over to EV through Polo, that's how I met my broker. Now I'm hitting, you know, $4 million farms. I'm getting ready to list a $12.5 million farm from a friend of mine who I've known since I was 11. So, and I do not talk about real estate to the people personally, but everybody knows that I know dirt. And so that's why they come to me. And it's pretty cool just being, you know, only 2 years in and being able to jump into that kind of world. No, it's not high-rise houses. It's not, you know, mansions, but it's large amounts of acreage and, you know, and investors that are looking to buy acreage. So it really is just kind of sitting around and talking to people and keeping that in the back of your mind.
That's awesome. Yeah, Jennifer, 2020, I mean, 2 years in, and I saw the listings on your website. I was like, wow, that's pretty amazing. So that's pretty inspirational, especially to a lot of people in here who might be newer as well. I mean, there's no limit to what we can and can't do. That's great. So market specialization is what I got from that. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Anne Malone with Chicago North Shore, or shop in Chicago North Shore. So Anne, how have you built your affluent network?
Well, I would say, you know, similar things to the prior responders. I have approached the market obliquely, you know, not so much in your face, but like I sit on boards, I play some sports, you know, I've made contacts through my kids' school and through clubs. I would say that if you are going to be on a board, I think that's a really good way to meet high net worth individuals. You know, they're passionate about what their charities are and so forth. But if you are going to chair an event or be in a committee, you need to knock it out of the park, because they need to see you as capable and professional and reliable. So that has been one of the main ways that I've made contacts. And then I get great referrals, as you guys have said. Once you do a really nice job for someone, then they refer you to their friends and you're in.
Awesome. Thank you, Anne. Great advice. And Emiliano Conti coming in from Venezia, Italy. Emiliano, how are you building your affluent referral network?
Hi, guys. So, I mean, I think I'm pretty lucky to work in a city like Venice, because I mean, it's a global brand. Everybody knows it. I think in US we have 11 towns named Venice, if I did my homeworks correctly. So it was actually easy to build a network on the buyer side, because it's, I mean, a lot of people wants to come and buy property here. Our hardest part was to build a seller's part to get the listings. Because back in 2015, when I started in, when we started here in Venice, best listings were in the hands of few professionals, some lawyers, some accountants and architects. So we need to convince the locals that we are reliable and international. Actually, it's a seller's market, it's always been. So when we first started, after one sale, everything was a lot easier, because from one sale you have another listing, from our listing, another listing. Now we are 25% market share, so we're good.
Wow, that's amazing. Absolutely. So build that professional network. Agreed. Great advice. Thank you. So just to recap, number one, guys, it's all about those authentic relationships and giving back. The more you give, the more you get. Firm believer of that, and everybody pretty much summed that up over there, which is great.